It's about how they know what they do, right? And they know what they always do, right? Now, I was supposed to have a baby, right? I only know that, right? Now, after they conducted this British colonial experiment on me, right? And while doing that, knowing what they're doing and using reverse psychology on me now, right? They do that and then telling me that I had to give birth. Right? After they know they fuck with my womb using nanotechnology, all them things, right? But now they're pretending now that they want me to actually give birth when the point is to stop birth, right? And that's why I call reverse psychology again. Right? That would be doing to people, making them think, oh, that they want you to give birth, but this time they don't, right? They're messing with your womb using technology, all kind of thing, right? So this is to say, once a British colonial experiment conducted upon you, you will never be able to, and they know that. They do it to people and they are aware that, hey, if you give birth to a child, it's going to repeat a cycle, right? So that is what they want people trapped into that now, right? So naturally now, I never had no ill will or bad feeling towards anybody at all, right? So I was on actually, and remember I tell the gynecologist when I went for my checkup, right, by the gynecologist, I was about 31 years, and he was like, hey, you're in a state of frame of, your body in a frame, right, where you're healthy to give birth, right? And and I was like, well, okay, cool, right? And then this thing happened now, right? This thing happened, right, from a top level now. This situation happened, right? The situation happen, right? So once that British thing conducted upon you, like I said, that going to take about 500 years to heal that cycle again, right? Before anybody could give birth with regard to that, right? They know, they have all the knowledge, right? So they actually know, hey, once we conduct this on you, right? You would is either your race or your family bloodline eliminated, right? Or is either you had a wait. So in fact, you gonna end up passing on, meaning being a prophet, right? You end up being a prophet, a female prophet, then, and you have no choice but to just live that life. So I just had to wait here, right? So that's the idea. So England now just using me to wait on them, right? They're just using me to wait on them, right? So that is the situation right now, right? And that's why I really have a deep resentment for these people at this point, because I never actually saw how flipping evil, right? Well, they and America together, whoever it is, do it, right? I never knew, right? It had that level of evil existing. I never know that it had that. When hey, well, you just read about these things in history books. You read about the British colonial thing, right? As a student, whoever you go to school and thing, right? And when it comes to actually facing the real reality, hey, these people do this to me, why? Right? It's be kind of unbelievable not to accept, right? It's just be unbelievable because remember, this is something that I just study in school. Right? I learn about the plantation system, I learn about the X amount of slave transported on a slave ship, right? Isn't that funny, right? X amount of slave transported on a slave ship, right? And then the same thing they do to indentured laborers, bring them via boats, right, into the country, right, and then slave them or enslave them, indenture them, give them nothing but a penny, right, to work and so on, right? And when you see that this thing, you're confronted now with the reality, hey, they did this to my ancestors, and then they come back and they do this bullshit to me, where I supposed to propagate my bloodline, propagate, right? Meaning, I was supposed to procreate, right? Procreate, give birth, right? Ensure that this proper and right teaching and conduct continue and not to dissolve things, right? I'm supposed to be able to create because God blessed me with a body to be able to create, and God blessed me with a female body, right? A female, I'm not a male, I do not have a dick, I do not have a penis, right? So God blessed me with a reproductive organ that's supposed to enable me to procreate, right? Procreate means and give birth. Procreation means to give birth, right? To give birth to new life, to a new life form, right? And when it is these people do this to me, and hey, it have people, and I know within myself, hey, I'm meant to give birth, right? I'm meant to give birth, and that actually being confirmed, right, by somebody and telling me, hey, you had the right age to give birth. That was since about 5 years ago, right? Right before this incident happened, right? So when you see those things happening, right, and they see a healthy person, right, and they put a stop, right, because only you, only whites, right, because they believe that only whites, right, should be able to give birth, right. That is when they say I could go all out, right, all out and defend all other system, even if I don't like polygamy, even if I don't like five wife thing. Like when I see them thing come and happen, man, I go in all out to defend all system of family forms, and I couldn't give two shits, right? I don't give two shits. You see when once an event like that unfold, right, and they try to stop somebody who's supposed to give birth from giving birth, right, I'll go all out to support every single person, brown, black, whoever, right, to procreate and to help males now, right, in my zone, in my country, to be appropriate fathers, right, and so on, because we know we had a tumultuous history, right? So I don't care. You see, once that event happened, man, I supported Buju Banton, I supported Elephant Man, everybody, right? Because you know why? And all your wife or wives, right, as the case might be, right? I here to support all because you know why? This thing is real crap, right? And it should have never happened, right? It's something that should have never happened. It should have never happened, right? So that like even if the nuclear family form was my inclination in terms of a family form, once something like British colonialism, they come and repeat that, right? Meaning that they intrude, right? They intrude on my natural procreative ability, right? Once they at that level intrude on my natural procreative ability, I'll go all out to ensure that hey, we have healthy family systems, healthy family structures within the Caribbean, right? To help push forward and to regenerate the Caribbean in a way that I'd never seen before, right? In a way that was never seen before, right? Good. Even if it's at the expense of the entire world, right? Good.